Donald Trump remains defiant, refusing to concede defeat while continuing to lob Twitter grenades at what he likes to call the lamestream media for calling the presidential election against him. That's despite high-profile Republicans, including former President George W. Bush, congratulating President-elect Joe Biden and saying the race was fundamentally fair and its outcome is clear. In a statement, Bush also offered congratulations to Trump on a hard-fought campaign. But the 45th President of the United States keeps claiming widespread election fraud without producing any evidence. Republican strategist and commentator Dede Westbrook reckons the race isn't yet over for Donald Trump.
There hasn't been a decision. News outlets don't actually make the decisions on elections, and so until it's been announced and all the votes are completely tallied and everything, right now we don't know. As far as I know, he's still the president of the United States, and that's where we stand.
So, do you think he has actually a chance of turning this around? Because a lot of statisticians say, regardless of recounts, the margins are so huge, he can't claw it back.
As hard as it is for me to say this, because I would like for him to win, I think he and Vice President Pence have done an outstanding job. But right now, the way that it stands, no, I don't think that he does.
OK, so is it time for Donald Trump, as one person has said, to pull on his big boy pants and concede defeat publicly?
No. He always has on his big boy pants. He is our commander-in-chief, but no, I don't think that, no, not at this time.
You are a strategist and a Republican strategist at that, so give us some insights here. What is Donald Trump's strategy right now, do you think?
Right now, I think his strategy and the Republican Party's strategy is, again, to wait for all the legitimate votes to be counted. And once that's done, then a decision will be made.
What about the statements he's making via Twitter and publicly saying that there is a fraud here, that the election is being stolen from him?
I think that he's saying that because for so long, for over a year, the Democratic Party was saying there were so many irregularities in the voting process, and now there appear to be none at all. And so I think that he's saying that because, again, for so long they were saying that it was. And so right now he just wants everything to be done in order, in decency and in order. And once again, those legitimate votes of people who are actually registered voters, legitimate voters, once all those ballots have been counted, then we can make the decision on who's the next president of the United States.
He's making allegations, though, of widespread voter fraud. He's going further than just suggesting there might be the odd irregularity, isn't he? Come on, you would have looked at his Twitter feed. He is alleging widespread fraud.
To be honest, I'm not joking with you. I really have not looked at his Twitter feed. I have basically just been paying attention to, if there's a state that's still reporting their numbers, we're looking for that. But no, I haven't been paying attention to his Twitter feed. And again, looking at the positive things that have happened throughout this election, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of women having the right to vote in the United States. And that's been an amazing thing. We've had so many people to vote this year. And in this election alone, President Trump received more votes from minority voters than any president since 1960. My 18-year-old son had an opportunity to vote. So there are a lot of positive things that have come out of this election. And I'd like to focus on those things rather than focusing on the negativity. And so right now, waiting until those votes are counted, waiting till all that comes together. Still looking at the percentage of black male votes from 13 to going up to 20% for President Trump in this election. So there are a lot of really good and positive things that we need to think about, look at and coming out of this election race.
So George Bush has already congratulated Joe Biden and says he is the president-elect, and a number of Republicans have come out and said there's no defence for Donald Trump's comments and that indeed Joe Biden has won the election. Is George Bush wrong?
I'm not not going. That's his opinion of what he's looking at. I support President Trump and Vice President Pence the last 4 years of the results that they've given us in the United States. That's what I support, and I support all that they've done for minority communities and for America as a whole. So if George Bush, if he wants to congratulate Vice President Biden on a hard-fought election, that is totally his decision to do so.
Dede, why specifically do you support Donald Trump?
I support him I'm an HBCU graduate. He has given a tremendous amount of money and support to HBCUs, and HBCUs is historically Black colleges and universities here in America, more than any president has. I am pro-life. I support those choices. I also support opportunity zones for underserved communities that he has been a huge champion of. So there are so many things that he and Vice President Pence have done over the last 4 years that we should focus on and be excited about in the term that they've shared with us. And if, in fact, that term is over, then we will move forward to the next president of the United States.
If he has lost, the inauguration isn't until January. What are you expecting from him in the time that he may have remaining in the White House?
So continue to do the great work that he and his administration have done thus far.
You're not expecting him to rush to pardon a few people or anything else?
I mean, if that's what he would like to do, and that's the business of and that's one of the businesses of the presidency, then absolutely, I would expect him to continue to do the work that he's done thus far.
So, Dede, just so we're sure here, at this point, you don't think he's a loser?
Absolutely not. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh like that, but absolutely not. He's not a loser by any stretch of the imagination, neither he nor Vice President Pence. They're extreme winners, extremely, and very good at what they do.
And you're still not convinced that he's out?
No, I mean, what do they say? It's not over till it's over. And again, once all of those votes have been counted, completely counted and tallied and totals done, once that's done, then yes, I will move forward to the next president. Until then, no.
And that was Republican strategist and commentator Dede Westbrook.